everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Everything Horror. I am your hostess tonight, Tessa Baker, and I am joined by my co-host,
Tristan Knott.
And we are here tonight to talk to Courtney. Oh God, please help me with your last name. I don't want to butcher it. Is it Akbar?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay, good. Good. I'm glad I didn't butcher that. I was afraid I was going to.
Good.
So we have Courtney here with us tonight, and she's been in a couple of films some of you may know. She's been in Astro. She's been on the TV show NCIS, and she's also starring in Circus Road, if I'm correct, right?
Yes.
So, Courtney, how about we start off and you tell us what got you into horror and give us a little bit of a backstory about yourself, if you don't mind to indulge us.
No, definitely not. Thank you for having me here today. I've always been a really big fan of horror movies. It's definitely the go-to genre whenever I'm at home looking for something to watch, whether it be like Netflix or YouTube or whatever. So to be able to participate in my first horror movie was really awesome for me, just because I love the genre so much. And I'm really looking forward to being a part of a film that makes people's energy go up and makes them cringe, just like how I love to when I sit and I watch a film. A little about myself is I grew up in a small town, Massachusetts. I moved out to LA when I was 17, with the ambition of being an actress, of course. And with a lot of hard work and not giving up, I've been able to really dive into the world of film, and I'm super thankful to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you.
Yes, I completely agree. And horror is such an amazing genre. I myself am a big fan of horror. I love horror ever since I was young, and it was brought into my life at a young age. I've always had this love for the horror genre. So I'm right there with you. It's pretty much my go-to when I'm watching Netflix, Hulu, Shudder, whatever. I prefer it above all other genres.
I agree with, because usually with a really good horror movie, it always has a little touch of the comedy in it, has a little touch of action. So I feel horror is really great because it gets your energy up, it makes your your body just on edge, and it also really has a little bit of, I feel, most other genres mixed into it as well.
Yeah, I agree. I have to ask, what were some of your role models growing up in acting, and what got you into acting?
Well, for acting, it's honestly been something I've always wanted to do ever since I was, I think, as old as I was able to figure out I could plan what I wanted to be when I grow up. You know, I always reference back to the movie, I don't know if you've seen it, but the movie Superstar. That movie is actually one of the first films I watched being really young, and it really gave me the seed of hey, you don't have to be raised up, in the film world, where you can come from a small town and work your way all the way up and, get into the movies and film. So that's definitely where it began for me. I definitely have a few actresses that I look up to as role models, whether it be just from their personal life into roles that they've played on screen and just how great that they're able to capture their characters. A few, that just stick out in my mind would be Charlize Theron, of course, Angelina Jolie, Jennifer Aniston. Margot Robbie's a new one, but I definitely love her. So yeah, I've definitely had quite a few what I feel are very strong actresses that have led my way and my aspirations.
Now, how long did it take you to become an actor?
I didn't work on my first project, I would say, until maybe about 1.5 years, 2 years after being in LA. So it did take a little bit of time to get in. Definitely not easy. I can say that.
What's this? Can you tell us a little bit about this movie that you're going to be in?
Yeah, so Circus Road is, from what I've been told, going to be releasing later this year around Halloween time. I think it's a great film that, you know, personally myself, like I said, I love horror movies for just sitting Netflix and chill. I think a lot of other people would really like it too. It's a very layered film, actually. It has a lot of great characters with a lot of depth to them, which is kind of unlike, you know, some different lower budget horror movies. But this movie, it's like a road trip movie that features this creepy town in the middle of the desert that's isolated, and it's ran by this crazy clown cult that definitely doesn't like outsiders, and I'm pretty sure it's going to give audiences a really good scare, especially if you're not a fan of clowns.
Now, how'd you land this role?
I actually got this role after auditioning for the director, Min Collins, on another project that we actually still have planning on shooting, I think, later this year. But I had auditioned for him originally for a role in another film, but then him and the co-director, Sadie Katz, they co-wrote it together, that it kind of just caught a lot of wind and a lot of interest, so it got more priority on top of the other film, Asphalt Jungle, we're supposed to be working on. And then Minna actually told me after he had written it that he had me in mind when he was writing the character. So that was pretty cool for me. I ended up going to a big event with a lot of the cast. It was right around Halloween last year, actually, and he had told me he wanted me to do the part, and he wanted me to come to a table read. And pretty much by doing that, I solidified my part.
How'd you land your roles previously to this one?
I've actually done quite a few different things. I've auditioned for a lot of the projects that I've worked on. When it came to NCIS, I was actually reached out to by one of the casting directors, and they wanted me to participate. So that was really nice for me, especially since that was one of the first TV shows I ever worked on. I've done a lot of self-tape. Also, I think that's actually what I had sent over to Min Collins originally for the Asphalt Jungle. It was a self-tape that I had done. Yeah, and I think a lot of my other roles also have been mostly through like self-tapes, more so than in-person auditions.
How did you first feel about starting out as an actress? Did you take any sort of acting classes?
Yes, actually. I'm actually very thankful I got to study the Ivana Chubbuck method. I attribute a lot of my abilities to my studies that I've done there. I really think it helps me with getting into character. I like to be very method, and her method of teaching is very similar to how method actors work. It definitely helped with me being able to step my feet into the industry.
As far as acting goes, do you prefer to act in horror films or science fiction?
I don't have too much of a preference right now. To be honest, I like being very versatile and challenging myself, so I don't really want to just stick myself in one category and stay there. Because I've worked on like comedy, action, the sci-fi film Astro. So I definitely like to jump around more so than stick to one solid genre.
Very nice. That's awesome.
Now, what's your favorite horror movie?
My favorite horror movie right now, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's the movie Terrifier.
Nope.
Have you guys seen that one? Directed by Damien Mancini?
No, I haven't seen it, but I've heard a lot about it, and I see stuff for it all the time, on social media and such. So I will definitely have to check it out since you mentioned it, and I'll have to let you know what I think of it.
I highly recommend it. I actually was involved in a podcast that we were recording last week where the whole thing was about the movie Terrifier. So definitely watch it before you listen to the podcast because there's a lot of spoiler alerts. But I personally really like gory, slasher films that also have, some good characters to them as well. So Terrifier really kind of just tops the cake with me. Other than that, I would say my second favorite would definitely be the 1973, The Exorcist. I think that should be a staple for most horror fans as well because it's such a creepy movie that still, if you watch it, it just creeps me out.
Yeah, I've seen that a bunch of times and it still creeps me out each time.
Definitely. I saw it the first time when I think I was about 5 and I had nightmares for 2 weeks to a month. So it definitely stuck with me. But I still love horror, so I think it stuck with me in a good way.
How do you get yourself ready for your character roles? Like, how did you get yourself into character for Kat in Circus Road and Laura Lee in Astro and your character Christine Sanders in NCIS?
So each of those roles were actually very, very different. In NCIS, my character, she was just like a college girl, like a normal girl. So it was pretty easy to relate to at the time. I didn't feel I had to do too much to really change my thinking or my perspectives and how I was going to become her. For Astro, that was definitely different because working on a sci-fi film, you have to open up your mind a lot to some interesting ideas. And so it was really cool. I did a lot of physical training actually for Astro, where I was doing learning stunts, and I was learning how to shoot a bow and arrow, and it was a lot more physical training where I was doing fight scenes. So that was a lot of fun, whereas on Circus Road, it was also completely different because I had a lot more mental preparation to do, whereas, Astro was a lot more physical. I really had to do a lot of research. I really wanted to submerge myself into cult life and what it was like to grow up in a cult or be a part of a cult, and brainwashing and how people become brainwashed and how easy it could actually be to brainwash somebody. So it actually took it took a few months actually for me to get into character for Kat for Circus Road, just because she's such, she's very deep character, and she has many, many layers to her. So I wanted to be sure that I was able to be as spot on as I could about every aspect of Kat.
Now, out of all the roles that you've played to date, which character was your favorite to play, and why?
I would have to say Kat because she was a lot of fun. Even though she grows up in some really weird situation, I think a lot of people will find things that they can relate to in her, and they might even be surprised by a lot of things with her. And then I don't want to give too many spoilers, but it was really cool to just dive into a whole other part of basically myself, where I could just see life at a different angle and think differently. And Kat would definitely be my favorite role so far.
So, what's the hardest thing about being an actress?
Hardest thing, I would say, is getting into the industry is really the hardest. Not a lot of people are willing to work with, they call them green, quote unquote. A lot of people like what they call seasoned actors, so it's really hard getting into the industry. But I think once you're in, and if it's really something that you're passionate about and you're not going to give up on it and you're going to continue to work on it, then I think it's totally worth it.
Out of all the roles that you have done, which one's the hardest one that you've ever done?
I think physically it would definitely be Laura Lee from Astro, just because I did have to do a lot of physical training, and throughout the movie, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but she also goes through a lot of emotions, and she goes through a lot in what you see on screen in that portion of her life. She does go through a lot, so that is a lot to take on emotionally. But I also think Kat would be almost pretty equal, just because it's a whole nother level when you dive into, the dark world and, the evil parts of the world, so to speak.
Yeah, sounds pretty difficult.
I'll switch gears, go back to Circus Road. You guys have been trying to promote Circus Road, like on Indiegogo. What other ways have you tried to market it?
I'm not too involved with the marketing, so I'm not too sure I could answer that as well as maybe somebody else on the team. I don't really know how to answer.
Okay, that's fine.
I know personally for me, like, I've been posting actively on Instagram, on Facebook. I've done quite a few interviews over the last month and a half. So personally myself, I've done a lot of marketing and promotion for the film. I know a lot of the other actresses and the directors as well. But as far as that, I'm not too sure, what they have the marketing team working.
Well, actually, what you just said was actually what I was actually looking for, answer-wise, was
okay.
what you were doing. I'm sorry, I should have clarified that a little bit better.
Oh, that's okay.
So who else is starring with you in this film?
So for my co-stars, we have, of course, Sadie Katz being the bride, of course. We have Augie Dukes, who is also co-starring. We have Nikki Chris. We have Tiffany Fest. We also have, of course, Darcy DeMoss, who's playing my mother. So we have a really great ensemble cast.
Tristan, do you have anything that you'd like to ask her before we get down to the last couple of questions?
Now, how long did it take you to film this movie?
It took about a month. We started shooting in November, and we didn't finish up until into December.
So quite a while.
Yeah, it was. I know we had to break for Thanksgiving for the holidays, so that was also in between. But yeah, it took, I think, about a month, a little over a month to shoot in totality.
Now, are you excited about Circus Road?
Oh yeah, I'm super excited. It was really fun being on set, and I've gotten to see a few of the clips. So I personally think it's looking really great, and it is a film that I myself would actually like to watch, even if I wasn't a part of it. So I think audiences are also going to really like it, especially true horror fans.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it myself.
Are you a fan of clowns?
Yep.
That's good.
I have
plenty.
Yeah, I'd have to say one of my favorite clown movies that I've ever seen, probably ever, is probably Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and then Circus of the Dead.
Ooh, nice. I haven't seen the first one, that you just named. I'm going to have to look that up. You said Clowns in Space?
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I'm going to have to look that up. That sounds interesting.
It is. It's pretty good. It's like a 1980s, early 90s, I think, maybe.
Oh, nice. I'm a fan of the 80s time horror movies, so I think that'll be right up my alley.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. It's got like some comedy to it. It's actually a 1988 film. It's actually really good. It has to be like one of my favorite clown movies I've ever watched.
Ooh, I think you'll really like Total Fire.
Yeah, I will definitely check that out since you mentioned it, and I'll have to let you know what I think of it and everything, and we'll have to like compare notes and probably go back and forth. We could probably even do an episode on that if you wanted to in the future. You and I could just talk about it.
Oh yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
And Tristan can even join us, and if Paul's feeling better, we can get him in on it too.
What, Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
No, Terrifier. She wants us to watch Terrifier.
Yeah,
We could probably do Killer Clowns from Outer Space after she's watched it. I don't know if Tristan's seen it. Tristan, have you seen it?
Oh, no. Nope.
What?
You haven't seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space? It's like a comedy horror. Oh my god, you have to.
I've seen it out and about, and I'm like, do I really want to watch this? Do I really not want to watch this? I have no idea.
You do.
I'm a little 50-50 on it.
Yes,
No,
you do. You want to watch it.
It has really good reviews. I'm looking right now on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, see?
It just reminds me of like a combination of clowns, like meets The Thing.
Well, I don't want to say too much, but let's just say that the clown from outer space like to cocoon the people. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, they use cotton.
No.
I'm
trying to avoid.
It's not necessarily a spoiler.
It would have been more funny.
But
You hush and
Listen here, Minnie Mouse. Just calm down there.
Minnie Mouse, listen here. I don't even sound like Minnie Mouse right now. I sound like I'm dying.
Oh.
Aw,
I have to find out where to watch that over the weekend.
poor babe. Yeah, you have to let me know what you think of it, Courtney. I really want to hear your thoughts on it.
Definitely, I definitely will as soon as I watch it.
When can we expect Circus Road to come out?
Yes, so what I've been told so far is it is being planned on its release being around Halloween time this year. So it should
Very
be
nice.
pretty soon. Yeah, not too many months.
My birthday month.
Yeah, Paul's birthday month.
Ooh, that's a good month for birthday. What day?
13th.
Ooh, my anniversary is the 15th. So
Right.
it's close.
Very close. And no, I was not born on a Friday.
No, that was me. I was actually born on Friday the 13th in June.
Oh, wow. Affected your life?
I think it's pretty cool, but I know how some people are pretty superstitious of Friday the 13th. Me, I'm just like, doesn't bother me. I mean,
Right, you're not close by bad luck.
yeah.
I
So,
used to hate it.
are there any projects coming up in the future that you can share with us that you're a part of?
Yes, the only one I'm really at liberty to speak about right now is a TV show called Paradise Apartments. It's actually, I'm really involved in this project because I like what it stands for. It's definitely very timely with everything that's going on in this world, and even especially in our country alone. It has a lot to do with cultural diversity and what it's like, living as either an immigrant or the second generation of immigrants, even third generation. So it even touches on Native Americans, so it's really nice. And I think a lot of people are really going to like the show and get a lot out of it.
Sounds pretty interesting. Definitely going to have to
Find a way to watch it.
find a way to watch it, definitely.
Yeah, we only shot a few episodes so far. That's actually what I was working on earlier. But yeah, we've got a few more in the works, and it's...
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check it out.
Is there anything that we haven't talked about, Courtney, that you would like to talk about? Or Tristan, is there anything that you'd like to ask Courtney that we haven't asked her?
No, I'm all set.
I would just like to say again, thank you guys for having me. It's always fun to, meet new people, even if it's not always in person. And it's always kind of fun to talk about what I'm working on and different projects and see what people think and their opinions.
Well, we're very happy to have you.
Yes, it was definitely a pleasure. We'll have to do another episode, after we've seen, Circus Road and stuff like that, and have you come back, and we'll definitely have more to talk about then.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully I won't be sick at that time, and, everything will be good.
Yeah, and Paul will be better too, so we'll definitely have more to talk about then.
Yes, and then I could be more like Minnie Mouse, like Mr. Chicken says over there.
Oh,
See, I can't even do it right now because I sound like I'm a dying mouse.
Sounds like Minnie Mouse rised from the dead.
I'm here to eat your cheese.
Oh my goodness. Way to go, babe.
I try.
So it was a pleasure to have you, Courtney. We will definitely have to have you come back in the future, either to talk about more projects that you've done or just to come on and chat in general with us about anything, really. We'd love to have you back.
Yes, definitely. I would love to.
So, with that being said, I was your hostess tonight, Tessa Baker.
And I'm Tristan from Everything Horror.
And our lovely guest was Courtney Akbar.
Thank you guys for joining us.
And as we at Everything Horror like to say, stay scary.